Right, as I mentioned at the top of the program, the Biden administration released its radical revisions to Title IX last week, which now includes gender identity as a protected class, essentially eradicating women's rights and their private spaces, destroying women's sports. Now, before these rules take effect on August the 1st, education leaders in a growing number of states, red states I might add, have stepped forward saying no. They're not going to bend the Biden administration's redefinition of sex. Now, how will this play out? And will other states follow suit? Joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Cade Brumley, Superintendent of Education for the state of Louisiana, which was among the first states to take a stand. Dr. Brumley, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
And let me commend you for taking a stand. Florida is taking a stand, Oklahoma, those states that are not giving in to this nonsense. Before we discuss the actions you've taken, tell us why the Biden administration's Title IX rewrite is so misguided and will not work.
Look, Tony, this is just a bridge too far. It's plain and simply an overreach. It flies in the face of common sense. Basically, the Biden administration is inserting the words gender identity instead of simply using what we've come to know and understand as the provisions in Title IX of biological sex. The problems that I see initially, one, there are going to be constitutional challenges from the First Amendment standpoint, freedom of speech. Two, this seeks to dismantle the longtime rights of females for equal opportunity in sports competitions. And three, something that's not getting much attention that I'm concerned about is I'm afraid it's going to create additional bureaucracies on school campuses in an effort to police all of these claims of discrimination. And so those are three of the primary issues for which I'm concerned. And for those reasons, and obviously my work with our Attorney General in the state of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, our Governor, Jeff Landry, we have asked school systems across the state to pause and do not implement at this time these radical shifts to Title IX.
So you've asked the schools not to implement these federal guidelines. What are the next steps? How do you see this playing out? Because I know every state's a little different in how the educational system works, but I think Louisiana is a good indicator. Yeah,
look, this is reckless. It endangers children. It seeks to dismantle protections for women. One of my primary concerns in the state of Louisiana is it creates a challenge because we have the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. Our legislature passed the Fairness in Women's Sports Act that says sports competitions in the state of Louisiana are to be separated on the basis of biological sex unless they're co-ed in nature. And so it's contrary to that. Next, our legislature is considering what's called the Given Name Act, which means classroom teachers are to call their students by the name on their birth certificate unless the parent requests otherwise in writing, which again is just common sense. So we are working with our AG now. We are exploring all options available to challenge the Biden administration on this reckless revision to Title IX.
Have they linked this to federal funding to education in your state?
They have, Tony. Look, I've been in contact with the USDA, with the U.S. Department of Education for nearly 2 years on this particular issue. And I've asked them the question, are you serious that you would consider taking federal funds to feed some of our poorest, most vulnerable students their breakfast and their lunch? I've asked, are you serious that they would withhold funds for students with exceptionalities who need additional support? And I've asked if they're serious about withholding funds for students who are in most need in terms of their economic conditions. And unfortunately, all of that is in play right now. And I think that is what they are dangling over the heads of all of the states. But again, I'm proud to be in the state of Louisiana. I'm proud to work with our team here, and we will challenge this particular revision because it is a challenge against our sovereignty in the state of Louisiana.
Final question for you, sir. You're confident that the schools will follow your direction on this until it's resolved at the state level?
Look, frankly, I believe that the schools are relieved in the state of Louisiana. They're relieved to see the guidance that we've provided. Many of them obviously are heading off into summer break very soon, and they were curious about, how are they going to respond to this before the beginning of next school year. And so we believe that they will comply. They will take this pause, give us the opportunity to go through this 1,500+ page document of these revisions and advise them accordingly.
Amazing. Dr. Brumley, I want to thank you for joining us today and bringing us up to date on what is happening in the Bayou State. But also, I want to thank you and commend you for all the fine work you've done in the state of Louisiana and standing firm for conservative constitutional principles.
Yeah, thanks again. It's an honor to serve the great people of the state of Louisiana, and I think our best days are ahead.
I would agree.